Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to another tutorial. Now that we've covered a few ways in which we can use stereo and wavetable, it seems like a good time to learn how to take those sounds out of RTcmix and write them into audio files. So what I have here is a script slightly similar to the one we did a few tutorials ago, and you don't need to be concerned with what's going on in this piece of the code because this is essentially a placeholder for any script that you would like to save as a sound file. So in this case, this script sounds something like this. Yep, and so the process of writing files in RTcmix is relatively simple. And what we need to do is use a function called set option and make sure that set option is always above any other thing that you have in your script. And set option, there are many ways in which we can implement this function, but for now we're only going to use it to write files, and we are going to give it two different arguments. So let's type inside the parentheses play equals 0 and clobber equals 1. And what these arguments do is the play argument determines whether to play the script while rewriting the file. So if it's set to 1, it plays it, and if it's 0, it doesn't. And setting it to 0 is actually very helpful because it takes less time and CPU to write it. And the clobber argument allows RTcmix to overwrite the file if it already exists in your computer. And in this case, that's what I want, so I'm going to leave it as 1. And below set option, we have to open curly braces and include the RTsetParams function. And below the RTsetParam function, we're going to type RT output, and RT output takes two different arguments. One is the path name of the file we want to write, and the second one is the bit depth written as a string. And if you have no idea what bit depth is, I suggest reading about it, but most of the times what you'll need to do is set it to either 24 or 32. So the way I would recommend specifying the path name is the following. So we're going to create two different variables. One is the file name, and this is the name that you're going to give to the file you write. So this is my file, something like this. You can set it to whatever you want as long as it's written as a string. And then we're going to create another variable called outdir, which is going to be the output directory. And so in this case, I want my file to be saved in the same folder as the script. So I have this in my desktop, so I'm going to type this, and this should go straight to my desktop. And I'm going to include these two variables inside RT output first, the outdir, and then I'm going to concatenate that string with file name, and those two strings will be concatenated with the output format, in this case .if for the format of the sound file, and then separated by a comma I'm going to specify the bit depth. So I'm going to type 24, also written as a string. And if I run the script, we should see this file showing up in the Finder. So there you go. And if we play this, there we have it. And one thing I would suggest to do is allowing yourself to go back and forth between tweaking with your code and writing what you have into a sound file. So we can do this by using an if statement to determine whether we want to write the file or not. So we can create a variable called write, and for now we can set it to 0, and we can say if and then write. So whether it's write is set to 0 or 1, we are going to include the set option. So if it's 1, it's going to read this part of the code, and if it's not, then we're going to just say RTsetParams with the appropriate arguments. And then if I run the script, it will just play it. But if I set it to 1, it will write the file again. So I'm going to create a new one. And there you go. So here's the new file. And that's all you need to do to write your scripts into sound files. As long as you have the set option before you use any audio related functions or instruments, this should work. And you can also set the play option to 1 in case you want to listen to your script as it's writing the file, which can be helpful in some circumstances. But with that said, I hope this is useful for you, and let me know if you have any questions or comments. I'll see you all in the next tutorial, and thanks for watching.